Hey guys, what's up? This is our very first episode of the Cougar Cast, and we're really excited to be doing this as a content creation class. Isn't that right, Olivia?
Yeah, super excited to be here. This is going to be great. I'm really excited for the things that we have planned for all the episodes. I think that we're all going to have a lot of fun here.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a great year. So we have a couple of interesting and very fun things planned for this episode. Including a very special guest, which we'll introduce in a couple of minutes. But we want to make a reminder to all the students that La Bendición has family meals every Friday, so be sure to support La Bendición so that the senior class may be able to have a fun senior trip.
Mm-hmm. And thanks to all the students and everyone who was able to make this work. We have quite a few members today, and we're going to be introducing them, correct?
Yes, correct. So these are the members of the content creation class. First up, we have Yeji. She's a 17-year-old senior. She has attended CAG since kindergarten and plans to go to a Korean university after graduation. Her favorite activity is watching thriller movies like Train to Busan and Run.
Next up, we have Mateo. He is a 9th grader that joined CAG last year. He loves making music and started playing the drums when he was 7 years old. He loves to trave and attend music camp every year.
And we also have Henry, who is a 15-year-old 10th grader who enjoys content creation, gaming, and many forms of entertainment. His favorite video game is Elden Ring, and his favorite movie is Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. He is very excited to start producing content for CAG.
Next up, we have Filippo. He describes himself as a Latino curly-hair student born in New Jersey and living in Guatemala. He loves to relax, play video games, and work on video games. His favorite video game is Fortnite.
Lots of video games. Like that, Filippo. Okay, next we have Angie. She's a 15-year-old 9th grader from Florida. She comes from a missionary family that has been working in Guatemala for 13 years. She has been a part of CAG for 7 years and loves to laugh. I think I'm a witness to that.
Oh,
We're both witnesses
We're
to that.
both witnesses of that.
She loves to laugh.
And of course, we have Jua. She moved from Korea 2.5 years ago. She has 2 sisters and comes from a missionary family, and she really enjoys watching movies.
Next, we have myself. Do you want to introduce me, actually?
Yeah, I'll introduce you. So we have Daniel here. He is a 17-year-old senior from Guatemala. He has been at CAG since kindergarten and enjoys learning about history and politics. A fun fact about him is that he has extinguished 3 house fires.
Next up, we have Isaac, who is a 15-year-old 10th grader. He has been at CAG for 10 years, and he loves to play a trumpet, and his favorite song is Remolineando.
And then I'll just introduce myself. So my name is Olivia. I am a junior, and I have lived in Guatemala for 12 years. I like to play the drums, listen to music, and go bird watching. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's great. So those are the members of our content creation class, which is also a part of our student media elective. But we're going to be focusing on the podcast this year, and we're hoping to be able to do some other projects in the future, right?
Yeah, so we definitely have a lot of things planned. Very excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a bunch of different people, a bunch of different discussions. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
And then today, thankfully, we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce him?
Yes. So our special guest is actually our new director, Mr. Mike Wills. And Mr. Mike Wills and his wife, Whitney, have 3 children, Lydia, 13, Charlotte, 11, and Jake, 8. Mr. Wills grew up in a home of Christian educators and accepted the Lord in high school. He has felt the call ever so stronger to missions in recent years. His goal for Christian education, based on Deuteronomy 6, is to produce informed citizens with a Christ-centered worldview who fulfill Matthew 28:18.
Mr. Wills graduated with a bachelor's in speech communication in Texas A&M and a master's in liberal studies, museum studies from the University of Oklahoma. He is currently in the final steps of completing his doctorate in Christian leadership from Liberty University. He served 8 years in the U.S. Air Force and has worked in a variety of leadership positions, from project manager to CEO. Mr. Wills is a natural leader with the mission call to see children educated for kingdom purposes.
So let's welcome Mr. Wills. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. I'm really glad y'all read my welcome to CAG email. Very good. I just know you were checking your email.
We have obviously some questions for you, but obviously thank you so much for being here. It's really happy to see you here, and we have some questions planned. Would you like to start off, Daniel?
Yes, for sure. And if I may, I think when we were discussing as a class who should be our first guest, I think it was pretty much unanimous that it should be Mr. Wills, because I think all of us as students have great expectations and would love to get to know you a little bit more. Yeah, it's very exciting when something new happens around the school. Yeah, so our first question for you is, where are you originally from, and what was your life like before moving to Guatemala?
Okay, so I actually, when they gave me the questions beforehand, everybody, but I didn't really know how to answer this one. So I grew up basically in the back of a U-Haul pickup all over West Texas. My dad is a retired football coach. My mom is a retired high school counselor. So I technically consider my hometown Cristoval, Texas. We got like 400 people, and I think the actual CAG campus is actually bigger than my hometown. But we moved here from the Bernie area, which is a tiny town outside of San Antonio. And so beforehand, before moving to Guatemala, is pretty just average suburbanite life. Like just, I went to work, got up, my wife took the kids to school because she worked up at the school, came home, soccer practice, swim practice, school for me. So it's definitely more exciting now that I live in Guatemala. Awesome.
So what do you think is one of the things that you miss most about it?
We actually had this discussion this weekend. It's going to sound strange, but I miss country music.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Surprisingly, we were at a restaurant in Antigua this weekend, and George Strait came on the radio, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, let's go two-step, but then it would have been kind of weird because no one there was doing that. So.
So obviously the States is a completely different country, and there's a lot of differences, and you were in a small town. So how did you learn about CAG and the position of director?
So I kind of came CAG a backwards way, I guess you would say. So I was a CEO of 2 small companies, but we decided to part ways, and I was about to start my own business, actually. So funny enough, I was in the final processes of, I'd finished up the financing. I figured I was going to pay. I was actually and I decided I wanted to work for myself and didn't want to work for anybody anymore. And I was going to start a poop scooping business in San Antonio, where you go and I had the meeting. Wow. It was a good franchise. I was about to start it, but had been feeling the pull from the Lord for a while, that at some point in my life I was going to transition out of just the corporate world and into missions, because I felt that calling for a long time, actually. But I sit on the school board of a school there in Texas, and I just thought that was what I would be working on for the time being. And I love international missions. That's what I love the most about being a believer, is getting out there and just spreading it to people, because we've been blessed so much in the U.S. to get to spread that out there. Yes. And but my interests are a little weird. I love education. I love this. I love discipleship. I love the model of CAG, of how this school exists. And so thought I was going to start my own business, and then eventually I would go and just kind of do whatever. I'd tinker around the school board, finish my dissertation, maybe do some consulting work. And my wife and I were coming back from a family vacation in Hawaii, and I just said, I was on the plane probably about halfway over the Pacific on the way to California, and I said, Lord, if this is it, I literally was that next day going to sign a contract to start, and was going to go to Virginia for poop school, and and that's what they called it. And it was a great company, and I said, Lord, if this is it, let me tear down it's emotional just because it's such a cool story. But I said, Lord, this is it. Let me be. If not, please, I need you to drop something in my lap because we're about to make a major life change. And my parents are missionaries for Commission to Every Nation. They're pastoral care, and so they have Honduras and all of sub-Saharan Africa. And so we thought, my parents just got an email from Nathan Hardiman through the C10 organization saying, hey, we're looking for a director. If you know anybody, let me know. My dad was like, hey, my son might be good with this. And so I had a conversation with Joel's mom. They called me. We landed at 1 a.m. At 6 p.m., I had my first conversation about CAG. The next day, I met with Mr. Hardiman, and then a week later, we were selling everything we owned to move down here.
Wow.
That's incredible.
I felt the Lord just say, go, it's time. And so my wife and I, as scary as it was, but we truly try to model being obedient to what the Lord has for your life and just say, okay, let's go. Let's do it.
Wow, that's awesome. And thank you guys for obeying the Lord and coming down here. That's something truly admirable. And obviously, following up on that, I think it's sometimes difficult to adapt to a new country, a new place. So what are some of the challenges that you guys are maybe facing right now?
So I will say I am enjoying living in Guatemala.
Oh, wow.
I do like it. I think for my wife, it's the traffic. But
Yeah.
I don't mind it because in Texas, when you're driving around Houston and San Antonio, it's the same thing. It's just 80 miles an hour. So here, I like the fact that, I can stick my arm out and someone lets me in. Although we were driving down to La Vida Real yesterday to shoot do the interview for the radio spot with Mr. Hardiman. At some point, I think I was driving on the sidewalk, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it was fine. Waze told me it was good. So I think that's for that. For me is... golly, I don't even know how to answer this. I'm not used to living behind gates, so that's been different. But no, I don't actually I don't really feel like a fish out of water here. I really enjoy it. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Here is what is the most interesting thing and the hardest adjustment is. Actually, the people here, I'm from Texas, and we consider ourselves the friendliest state, right? Born and bred. But the people in Guatemala have gone out of their way to, Guatemalans, people from CAG, Americans, Koreans have gone out of their way to just make us feel welcome. It's not an easy feat to move to a new country in 2 weeks and to sell everything you own. And my kids didn't even have passports at that point, and we got our passports in a week. And but the people down here, it's been hard because everyone is so servant-minded, and that's just not something you get necessarily in the U.S. And so for everyone just going out of their way, it's a little unnerving because sometimes you think, well, what do you want? And it's no, truly people here just want to help you out. And that is something that I am blessed by, my family is blessed by, and I want to shout it from the mountaintops from people who talk about going and doing international. It's like going to international missions or traveling. It's like, there's a great country here. So,
Yeah. I know that as a missionary kid, it's obviously very difficult depending on who you are, a variety of challenges that you can face. But we're so happy that you're here as a director. Yes. And we wanted to know if you had any plans for the future of CAG.
So what it's not that it's hidden. It's to honor what the Lord has put forth, and wanting the school to grow. So this is a place for Christians that love and believe in the Lord can come to school and be safe and learn. And really, it's we laugh, but I want us to be the best school in Guatemala City where people want to come across and see, which they already do. I mean, it's obvious because I've seen people that are driving like 2 or 3 hours, which is just incredible. Yeah. I'm from West Texas, so that's not unheard of to travel to go to school. But for people I want this to become a place, and it already is, but just build upon the foundation of what's already here and honor the Lord in all we do. And really, I want this group of kids that I'm seeing right here to go back out and say, really, my plan is that y'all turn back in 20 years and go, man, I was discipled there, and they put us on the right path. And that is that would be something that would make all of this absolutely worth it.
Yes.
Amazing. That's a very, very great plan. And now going on to the next question, a little bit with the theme of the culture shock and the transition and moving. What are some surprising things that you guys have found about both Guatemala and CAG?
So probably the most surprising thing, and it was probably the most fun thing, and my wife is probably going to kill me for saying this, but whatever. We've been married 18 years. She's used to it at this point. But at Price Mart, there's a 6-pound bucket of Nutella. And I've gone through 2 of them since I've been here. Because I love Nutella, and you can't find 6 pounds of that in the States unless you buy 18 half-pound whatever. So I definitely dig the 6 pounds of Nutella.
Oh, yes.
Other things, I mean, I can't get Indian food in the greater Guatemalan City area. That's kind of strange. I love.
True.
I always thought my calling in missions was going to go to India. My family has an orphanage in India that we sponsor and we've worked with for a long time, and I love the country of India because it's such a rich, beautiful place that's fairly misunderstood. And I love Indian food, which drives my parents nuts because they can't stand it. And I love it. And I was like, man, we'll go down there and get all the Guatemalan food, which I've never had before, which has been wonderful. I love plantains. I'm eating them like left and right. We're in Antigua this weekend, and I had 2 desserts of plantains and mole. So, and the coffee, oh my gosh.
Oh,
I get jittery because I drink so much of them. We'll look up on a Saturday morning and it's 70. First off, it's 70 degrees. Boy, we're going on a rant now, so just buckle up. And where I'm from, it's not uncommon for it to be at 100, 110 degrees, 90 degrees in December. Wow. I actually don't care for cold weather, but it being 70 degrees down here year round, wow. No central air and heat, that's been a little different, but the fact that you can walk outside, my wife had on Saturday morning, walked outside, she had a blanket on the back porch because that's how cold we are here because it's 110 degrees in our hometown. And so we'll look up, and I've had 2 pots of coffee because it's so good.
Yeah. So obviously you spoke before about some of the things that you liked about Guatemala, specifically the people, but would you say you have like a favorite experience or someone that you've met here in Guatemala?
Is this what I'm supposed to do, a plug about your dad being my buddy? Yeah, Mr. Bader and I, we have the same sense of humor. No, everyone here has been, I did make a gym friend at the gym who likes to talk and practice, he lets me practice Spanish. That's been fun. I seem to make friends everywhere I go. There's always something weird that happens to me. So I was ordering food the other night, and I try to do it in Spanish because I'm really trying to learn that. And everyone wants to walk up to me and talk to me in English, and I'm like, I don't want to talk in English. I know English. No, even with my accent, I know English. But I've enjoyed. I have not met any bad person yet. I've really enjoyed all of it.
Good.
Yeah, great. Sounds fun, and just from the small times we've interacted, I can definitely tell that you're a very friendly and likable person.
You're gonna love my economics class when you're seniors. I'm making big plans.
So now moving on to, what is your favorite Bible verse and why?
Okay, so it's Proverbs 3:5-6, and it's trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. Oh gosh, I knew y'all were going to ask me this, and I was going to mess it up. So hold on, I do actually have this memorized, but this makes me just a little bit nervous. Yeah, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. And the reason why is because if you look at my professional career, and if you look at my professional career, it has taken some zigs and some zags. I mean, if we always laugh that if my 9-year-old self would meet his 40-year-old self, he'd punch him and go, what is your problem? You were going to be a lawyer. But obviously the Lord has really directed your path. And I think that's an encouragement for anybody. And I tell this to my kids that sometimes the Lord, you may think you're going to go one way and you have got that grip on it and you thinking you're going to go, you're going to go, you're going to go. And then it's just not what you think it is at the end of the day. And when you're doing that. And so when you release it and you truly try to be obedient to the Lord as you get richly rewarded. And sometimes that looks like moving to a foreign country that you've never visited before and you don't speak the language. And you move there in 2 weeks, and you have no idea what you're walking into, but you even can see in just the 6 weeks how the Lord has been preparing you for that. And so if you trust in your ways, if you trust and give it to Him and trust in that, He will make straight your paths. Even when you go from being in the military, flying on the back of planes in Afghanistan, to being a store leader for a retail chain, to a project manager working robots, building robot facilities to pick your groceries, to running a pool and landscape company, to now running a Christian school, that path is actually quite straight from, because you can see the Lord maneuvering and teaching, but you have to be willing to look at that and not focus on yourself. And there's been some hard lessons in that, but what a reward it is to get to be in this class right here in the middle of Guatemala. Because actually I was pretty pumped about this class. I thought I was in high school. It was just, you did yearbook and that was about it, which that's great. Miss Reed's wonderful, but this is pretty cool too. So,
Well, we're so glad that you're here and that you've come here to CAG, and we'd like to finish up our interview by asking you, how can our community, CAG community, be praying for you and your family?
Okay, so my personal request is for me is that this dissertation, I am trying to finish it up, does not send me over the edge. No, I'm fine, but the dissertation's been been interesting, but I'm almost done. So I've got 8 more interviews and a dissertation defense, and I'll be finished. But no, I think for us it's just transitioning. I mean, we so rapidly moved down here that it was kind of, my wife and I joked about it being emotional whiplash, because we're just like, all of a sudden we're gone. And so, my dog's coming down in 2 weeks. I'm very excited. The Tater gets here. And but yeah, I'm excited. My little Boston Terrier, he's my special boy. But no, I think for us it's just, we are just for the adjustment, and that ultimately, that I think really for us, and especially for me and my wife, is that everything that we do glorifies the Lord, and that we walk through whatever this looks like in the years to come here at CAG, because I'm really excited about being at CAG. So for all the parents out there that are wondering, yes, my plan is to be here a very long time. Yes, for you, I would love to see each of you graduate and your siblings to graduate. So and my son, who's a 3rd grader. But everything we do just honors the Lord. But I think that's just a prayer request for everything, is that we steward. And for me specifically, is that we steward the blessings that the Lord has given this school, because you can see it. You can actually see it. Like when you walk onto campus here, sorry, I'm going to go on another little tangent here, but when you walk onto campus, it just feels peaceful. And when I talk to your teachers, the love that they have for the Lord is just as tangible. We were in a staff meeting yesterday, and when I go and growing up going around staff meetings, I was like, this is kind of boring when I have to watch my dad do them. And I'm like, no, it's fun, because the teachers truly want to learn and teach y'all and disciple y'all. So it's just that is not really an answer, so I'm sorry. But anyway, that's it.
That's good. Well,
Yeah, that's great.
thank you so much, Mr. Wills, for answering our questions. It was really nice talking to you, and we're very hopeful that we get to know you more.
We'll see about that.
So we wanted to remind you guys that recently Guatemala celebrated its 203rd anniversary, correct?
Yes, that's correct. 203rd.
And so we're going to be sharing some facts and some interesting trivia. And Daniel, won't you start us off with that?
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
So the first interesting fact is that Guatemala won its first Olympic gold medal in 2024. It was won by Adriana Ruano Oliva in women's trap shooting at these Olympics in Paris. And then she also set a new Olympic record by shooting 45 out of 50 in the final. So I think that makes all us Guatemalans very proud.
Yeah, it's really surprising. Very, very proud of her, though. We're very happy to see that. And in the States, a popular franchise, the McDonald's franchise. So this is actually a really interesting fact. I only learned about this recently, but the McDonald's Happy Meal was first created in Guatemala by franchise owner Yolanda Gofino in 1977. So it's pretty interesting.
Yes, that is a very interesting fact. I think the Happy Meal's gone around the world now.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much so. And our last interesting fact for Guatemala is that has been an independent country since 1821. And for 20 years, it was part of the Federal Republic of Central America. And in 1841, it became a fully independent country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very neat.
Yeah, so those are a little bit interesting facts since we just had the independence celebration.
Yes, more you know. And we'd like to finish this episode with a Bible verse, of course. I'm going to be reading Romans 6:22, and it says, "But now that you have been set free from sin and have become slaves of God, the fruit you get leads to sanctification and its end, eternal life." So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome verse. And I think it's very applicable for all of us. And just once again, thank you, Mr. Wills, for joining us here. And thank you, everyone, for watching, for tuning into this very first episode. The Cougar Cast will keep doing this every week. So make sure you guys tune in, and we'll keep releasing this episode. So, yeah, stay tuned in.
Please come back. So, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, see you guys.